Hi, I'm Beck, a DJ and producer based in Berlin, originally from England. As a teenager, I collected tons of electronic music, and then it wasn't until I was around 16, 17 I started going to some illegal raves in Brighton around gay pride time, and also just on the seafront, and just really got into going out and partying. But then obviously started to dig way into the music more, and when I moved up to London I started playing at after parties and kind of any event that I could, or even restaurants and bars. And from the second I touched play on a CDJ, I was completely hooked on DJing. So now has led me to where I am now, so I'm very grateful for the beginning of my career. And I think that's the same for every artist, label, person in the industry right now. It's very hard to keep your head up and stay positive when really the whole future is uncertain, and we don't know when we're going to be going back to work and as normal and playing gigs. I spent the first few months solidly in my studio, but then after a couple of months my motivation ran out, and I really needed a really prolonged break from the studio, which is the first time that I've ever actually done that. Mentally it was quite challenging. Some days were better than others, but yeah, definitely the most challenging in my career, and I'm sure most other DJs as well. Yeah, to stay motivated, it's a tough one, because I find that actually dropping everything and having a break is actually the most proactive way to stay motivated. I think the longer you try and kill yourself in the studio trying to do something, the more frustrated you will become, and I think the longer it will actually take you to get back in your flow. So actually taking yourself completely out of any music related work and going for a walk, going to nature, seeing friends, doing anything to uplift your spirits, and just take a break really. There's been some recent events and situations happening in the industry which have really made me question whether we do have an equal playing ground right now. I think in the beginning, and if you look at Berlin, when the wall came down, it was all about hedonism and equality, and just having fun and sharing and love really, and just having a great time and listening to amazing music. I do think there's definitely still promoters, parties, artists and people that are basing their music on that and their events on that. However, I think there is quite a big majority of the industry which are just... Yeah, I think I used to be of the opinion that I wanted to stay out of any kind of talk about gender roles in the industry, but now I've completely shifted my opinion, because over the last year there's been a few events that have happened, and I've just thought, wow, we are so much further behind than and I think a lot of people realise. So now I'm actually starting to use my voice and use my platform to give these alter opinions that actually don't seem so common. I hope that I can at least make a tiny bit of a difference, and then that would still hopefully progress things forward. I think you have to have great musical output to succeed in this business. It's very rare that a DJ is super successful as just a DJ, so I think the music's still incredibly important. It's like your CV, your business card in kind of, if you compare it to a normal job career. However, the huge importance on things such as social media and being more clued up on the business side of music has really kind of changed the dynamic of our industry, in my opinion. You're really needing to know a lot more about Spotify, Instagram, Facebook, SoundCloud. The list goes on, and I'm sure that list will start getting bigger and bigger. Even brand new platforms such as TikTok, they haven't entered our music industry yet, but I'm pretty sure it's just a matter of time before it's kind of important to be putting content out on there as well. I think, to summarize it, I think content is just super important to be pushing out all the time, not just music but photos and interviews and videos, and it's really difficult to kind of keep your head above water, because really, in my opinion, I think it should be more about the music still, like it was back in the day, and we should be able to just focus on being in the studio. But unfortunately, another touchy subject of who are actually producers these days and who aren't comes to mind a little bit. But yeah, so I think it's definitely changed, but I think your musical output is still really important. My advice to my former self, and also to anyone else starting out in this business, is keep going, stay positive. It's not going to be as easy as you think it will be, or there's definitely going to be a lot more challenges and obstacles and a lot of difficulties that arise, but of course nothing worth having comes easy, so it's also about the journey and not just the destination, so enjoy it along the way, every step of the way as well. The funnest thing to happen to me at a gig was probably when I was in Medellin for Bound Park a few years ago now. I had already played my set on the second stage, and unfortunately for Marcel, but fortunately for me, Marcel Detman missed his flight and he had the headline slot on the main stage. And luckily I was pretty honoured and asked to fill his slot. But just before I went on stage, I was with Miss Kitten, Monologue and Charlotte DeWitt, and we were just kind of having a drink and laughing and chatting. And I said, wouldn't it be fun if we just all kind of did a back-to-back, so it was we ended up doing a 4-person back-to-back on stage instead of Marcel Detman's set, which was incredible actually. The champagne came out and we just had an amazing time, and that's definitely going to stay in my mind forever as one of the most memorable gigs I've ever had. I think I would like to go outside of the techno world a little bit and do some work with someone like Orbital, and kind of jam with them, do a live jam. I saw them at Glastonbury many years ago, and they just blew my mind, and they've always been one of my favourite groups of artists, so yeah. So on the 25th of September, I've got the second release coming out on my own label, a 3-track EP, which I'm super excited about. Then after that, I have an EP on Needed Pains, followed by early next year I will be on Terminal M, Second State, and then even more in the pipeline, which I won't reveal just yet. But there's lots of music coming out for me over the next 6 months, so I really hope you enjoy it. Thanks, I'm Beck, and thank you for watching the RRP TV.